Hello and welcome to the Dark Matter event, racing for the Koenigsegg Gemera. To earn this car, I needed those upgrades, which cost me just over 1.3 million R dollars and 245 gold. After the rewards, that's just over a million R dollars and 145 gold. Now, it's not as easy as that may sound. I'm just doing that because some people want to know right off the start. But if you don't do things correctly, you're going to be paying more than that. And there are some stages that are very difficult even with those upgrades. So to start off here, this is race 1. This is really simple. By the way, there's timestamp links so you can jump around if you want to, because this first set of things is going to be extremely easy, but don't make the mistake of doing these early races as fast as you can, because that's going to give you really difficult bots later on, and then you're going to need more upgrades than I just showed you. So you've got to use strategy all the way through this event, not just when it gets difficult. At that point, it's too late. There's nothing you can do but spend more currency. So one of the things we do is we make races take a little bit longer. So I'm drifting the corners. I just have to heat up my tires. And so I'm drifting this thing around here. And that actually builds up heat in the tires quicker too. So it's not just wasting time. But you want to drag this out a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy. The game has an expectation of how fast you're going to finish this lap. You just need to finish less than that. So if you had, I don't know. I was going to see if I could do a donut, and it's like, well, of course not. This will be all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, so that's not going to work. But I'm going to slow down a little bit here before I cross the start-finish line. There we go. Get it over 1:20. And we'll check out the interior of the car in different race angles later on. The majority of these early races, you just do them your first try. It's very easy. I was testing some different strategies as we went along here. For instance, this event, I noticed after a little bit that, this car is behind me. So I started off, I thought, I better hurry up because there's 2 laps and I'm almost done lap 1. So I passed a few guys here. And then I thought, maybe I should let everyone pass me, because sometimes you can pass a car more than once and have it count. So I just thought I'm going to test this out to see if we can meet the requirements and finish really far back. And, well, let's see what happens here. Well, none of this is counting. So even though I haven't passed any of these cars behind me, the game decided I already did because of my starting position. So now I'm sitting here going, oh, nuts. I got like less than a lap to go. This is last lap. I realized I was going in way too fast. And I've got to pass another 5 cars. I don't know how many. So, there's a Pagani. Pagani Huayra. We'll see what kind of cars we've got in this event. It's an interesting mix. That's a Jaguar. And yeah, we'll see what we get for competition here. That's a Porsche. What is that? A Lamborghini Cayenne, I believe. And so finally my overtakes are counting again. Well, that's good. And we've got another Porsche here, and then there's a Lamborghini in front of him. I was going to try to get this guy to push this guy up further. I don't know, just for something to do. I had a feeling this race would end as soon as I passed this guy, so don't pass him too early. Yeah, there we go. It ends right there. So you don't want to pass them too early, because it'll end the race early, and then the algorithm's going to say, you finished this race in like 30 seconds, and that's not good. That's going to make it more difficult later on, because the game has a basic design. The faster you run, the more difficult it's going to make the competition to give you a challenge. Inversely, the worse you run, it'll start dumbing down the bots, but that only works if you're at or above recommended PR. What is recommended PR? We'll get to that at the beginning of the next race. Some people don't know. And they say, I don't understand. How are you doing this? And, look at that. That's interesting. We've got a map. I don't think that map is where I'm driving right now, though. But that's really interesting. A lot more attention to the interior of the car. And we've got a rear view mirror and then a computer screen to the left. That's interesting. That's quite the interior. Wow. So I just thought, I'll watch this guy in my rearview mirror for a bit. Like I said, you want to slow these races down a little bit. You don't need to get crazy about it. I'm not going to do like a whole bunch of really aggressive blocking. In the past, I would do a whole bunch of pit maneuvers and drag the race out for several minutes. And I don't really think that's necessary. I guess we're going to find out, right? But we'll just see here. Oh, hood view looks okay. I don't know if I'm set low or high, but hood view looked okay. Bonnet view or hood view. If you watch my channel, you know that my primary race view is chase view, or from behind the car like this. Part of it is just I'm an old school gamer, and so this is how racing games were back in the day. But I can do different views now and again. So, okay, so that's the end of stage 1. Now, at the loading screen here, just take a look. You'll see the phrase recommended PR. Oh no, we're not seeing that yet. Never mind. We gotta wait till it shows up. I've got base PR, 90.7. I've got the base amount. Now this one, I wasn't sure how hard this was going to be. 1 minute 45 in this car, I don't really know because I wasn't pushing the limits of this car yet. I don't know what it's like. Oh, Koenigsegg CCXRs. Those are often slower in the game. Really fast straight line speed. Actually, they have reasonable grip. Anyway, because I don't know how difficult this race is going to be, I'm just going to race it pretty hard. And then if I got a bunch of time left over, I'll give it back at the end. But, I'm drifting around. I'm already deciding to have a little bit of fun. I don't think it's going to be very hard. Usually it's not when you're just starting out. So, little bit of fun here and there, drifting a little bit. A lot of fun, actually. Some of these cars can be fun to drift. Some people have been asking for a drift tutorial. I'll have to see if I can do that at some point. Sometimes I forget about these things. It's interesting. The secret to drifting is actually knowing all the proper braking points. That's lesson 1. If you don't know the proper braking points, you're really not going to be able to drift, because all you do to drift is drive it in just a little bit deeper than you would, and then huck it sideways and feather the throttle. Let's see what I can do here around this section, because there's no way this is going to be full throttle. See, there you go. I'm feathering if I have to, feather for control. This is not a game that's designed for drifting, and so that's what's interesting, is because it's pretty hard to drift in this game. So, okay, I've got all sorts of time left on the clock. I'll just give some back. I don't want to finish. I've got I'm over a kilometer lead right now. That's kind of crazy. So I'll just park for a little bit. I don't want to have to do this race twice, but this start-finish line is right on the point. Others are not. Like Mount Panorama is not. You got to be careful. Your rear end has to cross. Okay, let's see this here. Still nothing about recommended PR. Now, this is interesting. I was just double-checking the requirement. So, average speed, but I don't want to finish with a huge lead. So, I'm just going to go the wrong way for a while. And you got to watch out for bots. They're going to drive in formation, so it's really easy to anticipate that. We're definitely not going to do this whole race. I'm going to skip the majority of it, actually, because this really isn't a hard race. But I just thought, well, I'll build up a whole bunch of average speed, and then I can go finish the race and finish really far back, and that should help me with some bot slowing. Because the only time you can do bot slowing or really good bot slowing is when you're at or above recommended PR. And at this point in the event, there is no PR. Okay, so I'm going to keep it pinned. I'm going to huck it sideways right as I get to the end of this. I don't want to damage my car because that's just going to slow me down. So I'm going to just not take it to the wall. And right away, we're gonna skip ahead a couple of laps. So we're just going to warp ahead here. So as you can see, very easy to keep my average speed. I never got anywhere near catching the field. And that's fine because I don't have to. I don't have to catch up. It just said finish. Like, it doesn't matter where I finish. So this could help to keep things a little bit easier further down in the game, like in later stage 4, stage 5. And we'll just see how true that is as this goes on. Now, I've got a lot of extra speed built up, so I can afford to have some fun if I want to. Not going to do too much of that because I've already really dragged out this race. Although it's a good idea to drag out the lap times a little bit, but I'm not going to go crazy about this. But I'm taking it easy, kind of drifting to the line. Coasting, I should say, not drifting. Okay, now do we see recommended PR? Let's see. Climb ranks and make sure you place in the top 3. Oh, we might. There it is. Recommended PR is 92.6 and it's red. That means I'm quite a bit under. Really, I'm not. I mean, 90.7 is base, 92.6. It's kind of weird, actually. If you're at or above recommended PR, it will be green. I think it's yellow if you're really close, but I don't remember. So, again, I don't know if this is going to be hard or not. So I might as well just really get up to third place as fast as I can. Then I can take it easy. Ooh, that Cyan's fast. I'm not sure if this Gemera's brakes. I'm taking it easy. Oh, we got a Devo. And then there's the Wyra. And that's all we're going to see. Well, you know what? I can push it to second place, but I'm not going to try to get second place. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes they won't let... Oh, there he is right there. Well, never mind. I definitely could get second place if I want to. Keep that rear end on track at least. What do we got there? Another Porsche. So Lamborghini, sorry. That might be the modern Countach. Not quite sure. He's going to be slow. Now, what I don't know in this particular event is if the bots are random. That can get very interesting. That really can come into play then if the bots are randomized. We've had events like the McLaren Senna GTR event, which I just recently did the flashback videos for that. Oh, I don't want to be in well, I meant to slow him down a little bit, but not necessarily that. Anyhow, in that particular event, the bots were not being randomized later on. You would get, I'm sorry, I'm messing around a little bit here. You'd get bots in the very same order every single time, and so that was easier to adjust your strategy, but it can also leave you stuck. So when they randomize what car the bots are in, then sometimes if the stage is really hard, just quit and retry, and you'll get a different car order, and that can really affect how easy or hard it is to pass stages. So that might come into play today. We'll figure that out later on. Okay, so there we go. That was no trouble at all. Now, we got to finish with a lead, and so of course that's going to limit bot slowing strategy. See, they know how bot slowing works, so they do this to increase the difficulty. So that's why we've got to make sure we have the difficulty as low as possible before we get here. Now that I'm below recommended PR, I can't do anything about bot slowing. I hate how the bots drive here. They're so stupid. Anyways, they were driving in formation. So left, right, left, right. After they cross the start-finish line, they're going to start to go single file. Ooh, I really overdrove that corner. Now, that Bugatti has a huge rear wing. So is that a Grand Vitesse? I think it is. And then we've got... it was going too fast. I think that was a Devo. Could be Devo? I don't think that was a Devo. Oh well. Definitely this is like a Grand Vitesse 16.4. What else do we have here? I really lost it around that corner. I shouldn't do that. That's going to make it... Well, I'm not really worried about getting to the lead because there's the technical section coming up. The bots are going to drive that very badly, so I'll have no trouble catching Elias here. I shouldn't. Oh, yeah, no trouble at all. Oh, yeah, he is in a Wyra, though. Is he not? Yeah, sure he is. Scrape. He's pretty fast. That car is a pretty fast car, so this might end up getting difficult. I'm going to make sure I push it. So I'm not going to horse around very much because those Wyras have a lot of grip, and I don't. Because I'm driving the base car here, the base Gemera. So, yeah. It's looking let's see here. I'll let him catch up a little bit. Oh, now I'm in trouble, and then I'm not in trouble. Okay, well, whatever. That worked. Does the PR climb? Okay, let's get on to stage 3. This is going by pretty fast so far. So we've got to get in some drafting. Didn't say anything about race work at finish or anything. Don't get damaged. Okay. So... I am going to let the guy behind me overtake me. I kind of like to finish further back, but I don't want to finish. Like I don't care about finishing much further back than 6th. Come on, man. What are you doing? I'm not really in the race line. Oh, it's a Cyan. Okay. Well, I can't get damaged. He's probably going to really overbrake this. Oh my goodness, he's driving horrible. I think I might switch race views here. Sometimes it's easier to keep track of things in driver view. But then I can't really see when I'm getting to the corner, so I got to watch that. I'm going to have to brake early. Something else I need to watch is how fast I'm filling up my slipstreaming. I need this to go like almost 2 full laps, or else it's going to think I did 2 laps in a ridiculous amount of time. So, well, I got to get back behind him. I bet you he's going to brake right here. Yeah, he did. Okay, and oh, nuts. Oh, well. Yeah, well, oh, well. I'm not going to restart the event. I wasn't doing a cloud save after every single stage like I usually do. So I'd have to go back and restart the whole event. I'm not doing that. All right. Well, let's push it. Let's push the limits and get a feel for this thing. I got to start figuring out where the braking points are, and then I'll be able to apply that to other tracks mentally. So that's kind of what I do to feel out a car. Man, those Cyans are slow, aren't they? I mean, they're not, but it's a further back bot, and this is early stages. That was a Bugatti again, went by that one very fast, so I didn't get a really great look at him. And that was still all on track. So the way I do these events now is I play by the rules until I can't. And so I gave you the upgrades right at the start of this video. Well, I didn't know that when I was doing the video. So I fought and struggled a little bit here and there because I didn't know. What I mean is I didn't know if this was going to get more difficult later on or what. You never know when you've reached the hardest race. And sometimes other people are having a really hard time. They buy a bunch more upgrades and I find another way to do it. So that's why I always will fight it out a little bit myself. Also, I enjoy this. I don't necessarily like seeing how other people have done this because part of the enjoyment for this for me is figuring it out myself. Like problem solving and figuring out how do I make it past this? What's my strategy? So that's some of how I actually find my enjoyment in this game is unlocking my own ways of doing things rather than going with what someone else did. And once in a while, if I get really stuck, I might go, look for help, but usually there's none available when I'm doing this. Okay, so we're getting to the end of this one. Not a difficult race at all so far. Nothing's been difficult, pretty well everything's first try. And let's see what we've got here. Complete each lap in 1:15. This one was a little bit trickier. Part of the reason for that is you're starting from a dead stop. Now you do have 3 seconds of off track, you could use it. I wanted to see if I could do it without. So let's try racing here. Woo! I almost nailed that Senna GTR. And I believe that was a Koenigsegg Gemera on my right-hand side. Didn't get a really good look at him, but that wouldn't be surprising for a upper place car. Those Gemeras are pretty fast. Okay, I'm not quite sure my braking point here. I think I'm going to brake pretty far back. Yeah, let's see what that's like. That seems pretty good. So definitely braking further back than you would normally in a lot of other cars, at least at this point. I might be braking a little bit earlier than I need to yet, but oh, right there I was off track for 1/10 of a second. So I want to try to limit that, because the other thing with being fully off track is you do lose, I mean, sometimes there's advantages, but definitely lose some acceleration when you go off track. Sometimes it's a benefit to cut things, like if you're going to cut anything at Hockenheimring, it's the very first corner, but that's only advantageous if you can't take it full throttle. So this car can't do that corner full throttle the way it is, but I'm still going to take it easy. Let's just see here. Woo, woo. And I'm going very fast. If this second lap, if I've got extra time, I can give it back at the end. Oh, I was off track again for 1/10 of a second. I didn't notice where I did that. Oh well, it really doesn't matter. I've got piles of time I could. Like if I make a mistake, it's not a big deal. But if you miss this braking point, you're going to fail the stage. You'll be off track way too long. So be careful. I mean, this really tight hairpin, you don't want to go off track here. Yeah, so far, this is really easy, which is expected, which is where people get into trouble because they race really hard on stages 1, 2, and 3, and then it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. How come I can't do this with your upgrades? Why are the bots so difficult? The game is extra special to you. No, it's not. There's only one version of this game. Everyone gets it, so I don't get anything special. I wish I could get it early, but oh well, I don't. Okay, so 13 seconds left. I'm actually a bit nervous just because I can't remember how much time this takes. Maybe it was here I did it. Like there you can do that. Oh, I've got a lot of time left over, but that's good enough. That's good enough. Wasn't that much time left over, like 1.5 seconds. That's pretty good. Average speed, okay. Win with an average speed before the fuel runs out. So I wasn't really sure if fuel would matter. Gotta tell you guys, I've said this before, my biggest beef in this game would actually be the fuel. How it's so random. How sometimes we had a race, I think it was in the Ferrari 499, where we had 100 units of fuel for like 1 or 2 laps. And here I've got like 6. And so you're telling me that this car has that much better mileage? Yeah, right. Anyway, oh well, just roll with it. So I was being a little bit careful, but then I thought, that's not going down very fast. I've got a feeling you could just drive this without paying any attention to the fuel and you'll have enough. So partway through this lap, I really start pushing it because I was a little bit worried about not being able to pass enough cars. Ooh, that was, nuts, I went off track. I don't want to do that. Going off track, you'll burn a lot more fuel too because of all the resistance and you're going slow. And because fuel works as a function of time in this game. It's not based on RPMs. So whenever you're on the throttle, you're burning fuel at the exact same rate. It's not RPM gauged like you would think it would be. Okay, this is getting tight. Where's the rest of them? There they are. Okay, this is going to be a last corner overtake, guys. Definitely, I'm not worried about fuel. I'm just gonna go, baby. Interesting that it's a Koenigsegg CCXR, or is it CCRX? CC anyway. He's slowing down the field. I'm gonna let him catch up. Look at that, lots of fuel left over. So no trouble for that one. Don't worry about the fuel. Okay, and we've moved forward really fast. We're blowing through this. Now it's gonna get hard though. Mount Panorama, this is where our car could really get into trouble versus some of these other cars because of the long speed runs. I mean, there's that lesser Koenigsegg, and he's further back in the field now, which means what do we have to contend with? Okay, there's another one of those. There's a Grand Vitesse, I believe that's a Grand Vitesse. 911 Club Sport maybe? Oh, there's another Gemera. So they're starting to huck those in the mix more. And yeah, so get a feel. Again, I'm braking earlier than you normally would in like a really, well, maybe it's about on par for a car like this. Oh, was that a Rimac Nevada or Rimac? But I think it was. That could get interesting. Those babies are fast. See if I can get under him. I cannot. Tangled up. The Gemeras get tangled up with each other. Yeah, I'm flying through this pretty quick, so I've done good with my bot slowing. Oh, a Grand Vitesse further up. That's great. He's going to slow people down. And a Grand Vitesse again. Interesting. Is it not a Grand Vitesse? Maybe not. No, that is. That's a Grand Vitesse. What other one am I thinking of? There's another Bugatti I'm thinking of. It's just not in my brain right now as far as the other Bugattis have got the big articulating rear wing. Gosh, it's kind of funny. Can't quite find it in my memory right now what they are. I could look it up. However, I want to get these videos out to you guys as soon as possible. So you tell me. I'm just going to keep pushing through this. Oh, the next race, something really funny happens at the start. I'm going to play it at half speed so you can see what I'm talking about at the very start of this race. So coming up here just a couple of seconds. Watch closely. Where is it? You see that? He started in the air. That's weird. Okay, so I was having trouble with this one, and it's only a couple of laps. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna start doing something crazy. So I'm gonna take some off-track cuts, and I'm just gonna try to pass this still with the bare minimum upgrades because I wasn't quite sure how difficult this would get. So I'm going pretty crazy. Oh, there's another Pagani there. That's interesting. And then we've got the Porsche. Zip around. Whoopsie, that's not good. I drove it a little too hard into that corner. Guys, I'm doing crazy stuff this race. I'm gonna wall ride, which is risky. I'll damage my sides, but as long as I don't damage my windows, it's not gonna slow me down. So that's aggressive. And this is all, honestly, guys, because, again, I didn't realize the upgrades I would need. I didn't have that knowledge like you've got. Oh, an FXXK Evo, I think. Cyan. Oh, all over the place. Bugattis. So maybe this isn't as hard as I thought. I wasn't sure, so I just thought I better really go for it. Oh, I'm not slowing down as fast as I want to. Oh, that's not bad. 2 more FXXKs. Let's see if I can get under both of these. I'd love to. Drift the wall. That didn't work as good as I wanted it to. So I'm still, yeah, I was worried because then you get this big gap. And definitely don't want to have to do this same race a bunch of times. And then, or you don't want to buy a bunch of upgrades and realize, oh, I didn't need those. I wish I would have tried harder. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying hard now, doing really aggressive cutting. Now, because of the knowledge you have, you don't need to do this. At this point, I don't have the upgrades I showed. So you don't need to do all this craziness. You could buy those upgrades right now, but take it easy, or else it's just going to get more difficult for you. So some of these bots just had a massive lead. They're not overly fast bots. They just had a huge lead. That's so violent. It does hurt me a little bit to do that to an expensive car, but it's a digital car. And the repair bill is extremely small when you actually think about it. It's funny how much they charge us to service the cars. It's so small. But in my new account, sometimes I've been so low in currency that I've waited until my entire garage was destroyed and then go take out one of the servicing rewards and service everything. Woo, I'm all over the place. Drove it in a little bit too deep there. Still got to get around this Bugatti. Oh, nuts. Oh, nuts. I am being sloppy. I mean, I could just blast through this. I could go take some grass on Santos here. But let's just see how this goes. Can I get around them? Or was it just 4th place I had to be in? I'll just get really close here. Hello, Santos. I think I'll dump you into the last corner. A little bit of a bump pass there. Let him catch up. There you go. So you'll see here that I still have, well, no, you won't see it here. This one I needed to add some upgrades. So I've already got all level 1 upgrades and I'm adding more. And even then, so at this point, you definitely need these upgrades for a race coming up. I went ahead to try some further up races. There's a race you've got to finish in 18 seconds and meet a speed requirement. So this is enough to pass that, but then there's more trouble later on. Okay, so I'm going to use some wall breaking. This is more of an advanced technique. Again, you don't need to do this. Buy those upgrades I showed earlier because you definitely can finish this event. Well, I don't think you can finish this event with less than those upgrades. Because it gets very difficult. Now, ooh, I was grinding. That's risky. I've got a lot of ground I got to make up here. So I've got 4 attempts at that speed run. Woo! Nice slipstreaming, slingshot around him. I got 4 attempts because you've got the outlap, and I've already hit speed there once. You definitely can hit speed here, even with help, even with slipstreaming. I tried doing this with less upgrades than slipstreaming. You might get away with it once or twice, but you can't afford to have a lot of off track. You'll fail. So, yeah. Gotta do it. Ooh, he was on the brakes nice and early. Thank you very much. Get around Mr. Gemera. So, like I was using with lesser upgrades, with pushing, you get a car pushing you, you can hit speed with less upgrades, but doing it as many times as you have to and getting up through the field, it's just not going to happen. And you don't have to. You don't have to because you need more upgrades. So yeah, I'm going being silly here with, using my wall breaking technique. There have been times where this technique saved me a lot of currency on like the hardest race in the game. But oh, that's aggressive. Holy smokes. Surprised that didn't crack my windshield. That was nasty. Okay, 7th place. I've got, oh good. There's 6th and 5th, and that's not good. Still haven't really dialed in my braking points here, but it's getting a lot better. Get around you, outside pass. I thought I was going to nail the wall. I'm trying not to do acrobatics, like, I'm not going to do what I did last race where I was doing all this crazy wall riding. I can't afford to get damaged, so I got to be careful here. Oh, that's a snazzy. That's got to be a Devo, is it not? I think it is. It's definitely a Bugatti. Okay, well, I've got 2 more attempts and only have to hit speed 1 more time. So this shouldn't be a problem. This area here, very little braking points required. There's Zoe. That'll be the one. I think I had to be in 3rd place, right? Oh, and Zoe's really over braking in her Grand Vitesse. Silly Zoe. Oh, nuts. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Well, okay, maybe we can hook up on the draft. Oh, come on. Zoe, you're so slow. Come on, I thought you'd be faster than this. I'm surprised. Maybe I can finish this next lap. Or can I hit it right here? Let's just see. Oh, I got there. Oh, with nasty damage. I'm sure I've cracked my windshield. Let's just see here. Give that a little check in a bit. That's pretty nasty. 130 about for lap times, even including the crazy crash I had there. So I can take this a little bit easier. I'm curious though. Okay, so Zoe's way back there. Oh yeah, multiple cracks. Was my screen cracked? Like the map screen in the car. It looked like it was cracked. That's hilarious. I think that's so cool that they threw that in there. So that crash was bad enough that I broke my display screen in car. Well, I guess I was thrashing around in the car to make that happen. I mean, it was pretty violent. I didn't think it was that violent. That's really funny. Okay, so I'm gonna see here. Just kind of wondering if I can hit speed again being damaged. I wonder if it's possible. Like, some cars don't really get a speed reduction with damage. They get a grip reduction. So I'm curious what this one gets. Let's just see what happens here. Now, I'm not going to push it too hard. I'm not going to fail this race and have to do it again because I finally meet the requirements. 370s, 380s. You know what? I probably could have pushed it. I was kind of nervous there. I got nervous about accidentally going off track. Oh, Zoe's right there. Come on, let's go now. Oh boy, I wasn't expecting Zoe to be on me so quickly. Zoe, you are fast. Okay, well that's awesome. So not all that difficult. Whoa, we got 2 Bugattis breathing on me. Yikers. That's fast. Okay. Zoe's closing in. Set the fastest lap. Okay. Generally, they give us 2 laps to do this in. So what you want to do, set a decent time, lap 1, and then drive lap 2 fast and keep an eye on what they're doing. And that way, if no one beats you, then finish lap 2 slower. But if someone beats you, finish lap 2 faster. I had to do that just a few special events ago where someone behind me beat me. And then I was in 2nd place, and so I had to get in that really good lap time for the 2nd lap. So I'm going to drive this pretty good. So braking pretty far back. There's a road that joins up there, and I was braking back there. Here I'm braking maybe a car length or 2 before the very first corner, like right here. You want to get on the throttle really early on the drive out of this corner. That's an interesting corner there, the way it works. And then coming up here, going to be a little tap on the brakes. That was a bigger tap, I guess. And a tap here. Oh, I really don't want to be encountering people at the top of the mountain. It's really going to affect my lap time here. Although some slipstreaming partners could be fun. That could be a good thing. Especially when one of them's a Gemera. But is he going to stay behind the Koenigsegg? Well, they're both Koenigsegg's, but the CCXR, CCRX. Yep. Okay. Well, I got a little bit of slipstreaming in there. Not much. So I'm going to get on those brakes nice and early. And hopefully no one hits me from behind. Oh, they got all tangled up. Look at that. Okay, so there's Zoe. I think 129. Oh, I kind of blew that corner. But I've got a nice lead, like about 1.5 seconds. So now, this is difficult. You got to watch your racing and also watch that. Really, all you've got to see is it green. Is it staying green? Because then you're fine. Okay, I don't know how many people are in this race, but I think that's it. So I'm still racing really fast here. It shows me as number 1 still, so I definitely have the fastest lap time. And we'll just... Ooh, that was close to the wall! My goodness, that was close to the wall. And again, little tap coming in here. Little tap going in here. And then on the brakes reasonably early. You want to be really in control at this point. You'd like to get back to the throttle here. There we go, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to really control this. Driving it in a little too deep, but I avoided that wall, so that's great. Massive lead. You know what? Maybe I should... No, it doesn't matter. Oh, it probably does. I guess I could reel Sing back in. Yeah, because I don't... well, I didn't really think about that when I was doing this. Oh, well. I won't finish faster than 127. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In this type of race, it's just going to log my best time. That's what it's going to do. Watch. It's going to say 127. It's not going to say my overall time. Yeah, there you go. 127. Okay, so let's get on to the final stage where things get the most difficult. This particular race had me worried at first. I ran it a couple of times, and at first it was extremely difficult for me. And so I decided I measured the off track. It's about a second and a half, I'd say, maybe a full second. So 1001, yeah, that's pretty close. And I decided I'd spend some there because I was having trouble. I was having trouble meeting the slipstream requirement, and I couldn't even get to first place. Now remember what I said earlier in this video. What I saw is that blocks are getting into different cars every time. So, if it's hard for you one time, just retry it and it might be a lot easier. Like I'm already in second place. So I haven't gotten a lot of slipstream here, but I'm catching up on Sing pretty fast. I don't think this is going to be very difficult. And watch this. Look at Sing's driving. We get up to him here. Sing's in a cyan. And he's deep. It's a cyan. Well, can't really tell right now, can we? He's driving extremely slow. In fact, that's a Koenigsegg. I think that's a Koenigsegg CC whatever. Anyway, look how much everyone's catching up to me. So this is really interesting. So if for some of these stages, this is what makes it easy, is the bots randomize, and you end up having some bots that are very slow up at the front because they just can't drive. And yeah, that's Wyra behind me. So he's all over me. He's always pretty destroying me. Oh, there's another one. What's he driving? Or she? Oh, that is, I don't know what that is. I think that's Gemera. So he's in the Gemera. That was one of those CC Koenigsegg's. Okay, well now I've got all my slipstreaming in. Surely they're not going to stay behind Sing very long. Is that ever silly? What are they doing? Oh, so we got around Sing. I got to be careful. I've got to brake so early because of my upgrades. So I'm going to power off corner at the last corner. Ooh, Zoe's catching up fast. Just double checking. Yes, I have to win. Okay. I wonder why they chose 6,401. It's a strange number. Oh well. Okay, well, Zoe, I gotta make sure I win, and then I can just kind of stop. And Zoe can catch up. Although she's gonna stop too. Okay, well, see you later there, Zoe. There we go. Very nice. Here we go. So, time is not a problem here. The difficulty is meeting the target speed. And I actually did this with one less upgrade in my tests, but I couldn't do that again. And it's not a big deal. Like, you might as well buy the additional R upgrade if you've spent the gold. So you got to brake early here and then power out. Again, buy more upgrades. Don't sweat this out. You need more upgrades than what you see me doing this with. Here, I'll show you my upgrades. So this is what I did it with. I just added 2 to body. 2 additional ones to body above the base R levels. And so that's 9 upgrades. And you can do this race with 9 upgrades, and honestly, it's not that hard to do this race with 9 upgrades. I don't think it's that hard. But again, you will need more upgrades. So 7, 9, 11, 13. So I ended up needing those 13 upgrades that I showed at the beginning of the video. And maybe you could do it a little bit cheaper than that with R. I don't think you could do any cheaper than that on gold. So that's what I would recommend. But if you want to try it cheaper, go ahead. That's what I'm going to be doing. So going up Kemmel here, this thing, I love this thing up Kemmel. It just goes. And these other guys are lagging, and this guy, and this Gemera is like, yeah, I've got dark matter. So I can go faster than y'all because I've got dark matter. I'm not American, because if I was, I would know to say all y'all. I learned that just in the last year or so, that y'all, it just means one person. All y'all is a group. That's kind of funny. I've got some good friends down in Oklahoma, so I learned some of that from them. So I love that. I love learning different, how people talk in different areas of the world. Kind of cool. For instance, in one of my last videos, I meant to say car, accidentally said guitar, but it sounded like I was saying Qatar, as in Qatar, not 2 A's but 3 A's, which is really interesting. I learned this from one of my viewers. That means in a line, and I believe that's what he had said, and which is really hilarious in racing. But it actually, I had guitar on the brain because I also I play guitar, bass guitar, different types of guitars, and so I just tripped up on my words. But it was a really cool, happy accident to have it come out that way. Okay, so gotta keep pushing this. Average speed, am I gonna lose it again? I'll lose it here, I think. I think it'll fall below its minimum. Let's see if that happens. Yep, there we go. But I've still got all this section. This isn't a hard race. To me, it's not a hard race. But again, don't fight if it is. Get those upgrades. You're gonna need them. But you fight if you want to. Try to beat me. You know what? Try to beat me. Try to do this with less upgrades than I did. That'd be awesome. If you can pull it off, more power to you. Here you can see, no problem. There's a sign up on my left there. You want to be braking a good car length before that if you've got these upgrades. Not much more than that, but 244. So around Bruxelles here, maybe I'll lose the speed. Let's see. And then the corner with no name, I'll lose some more. But then heading to Puan, I'm going to have a lot of speed. Start building that up again. Puan corner. Yeah, baby. Let's zip through this. Definitely on the brakes early here because you're braking downhill, and so it always makes it feel really far away. And lose a bit of speed going into this corner, but then we get a nice build up again. We should see 245s, I think, by the time I get to the end of this. I think. Come on, start building there. Let's go. Oh yeah, 245s, 246? Oh yeah, 247s even. Nope, almost. Whoa, I drove that in too deep. I believe there was a no off track requirement, but I kept one tire on track. I think I was all off track there for just a little bit. It's another reason why you've got to be careful. Okay, this one is brutal. So no, not 9 of 28 upgrades. I ended up adding another couple of sets, and so that ended up being 13. So here's where you need the upgrades I showed you at the start. And even with these upgrades, I'm telling you guys, this is stupid difficult. So you could use these bots for slipstreaming to hit speed the first time. But it's a lot of work to set that up every single time. So I'm going to set this up. From here, you got to really set this up nicely. And here, slipstreaming is going to benefit me. And I switched it to miles per hour, but who cares? I mean, I don't have time to look at that with all this other stuff going on. So you're either going to make it or you're not. But the reason why I liked that is because when I'd fail, I could go back and see how much did I fail by. In kilometers per hour, it was an uneven number, so that wasn't helping. Oh, nuts! I hit him. Is that screen cracked again? No, those are streets. Oh, come on. Oh, good grief. Okay, that makes sense. I was wrong when I said earlier. Okay, so the kilometers per hour was like 273.5, and that's just too hard to see. So when I was in miles per hour, it's like, oh, I'm only hitting 168. Okay, I had 2 more upgrades. Oh, I'm only hitting 169 repeatedly. So with this, I was able to successfully get it, but this is crazy stressful. And don't forget, guys, last lap, don't forget, you must hit target speed hitting the start-finish line on the last lap as well. I made that mistake once in the Aston Martin Valkyrie event, first flight. Oh, I was mad. It was such a hard race, and it's like, what do you mean? And this is a horrible gaggle to have. Oh, gosh. I don't know if I should save these guys. I don't really want to try to get help at the start-finish line. I mean, some of these guys are going to be no help at all. Like oh, that's a Devo. I'm pretty sure that's a Devo. He'd be a nice help at the line. Oh gosh. See, I'm braking really early because I need my car to be going very slow so I can get on the throttle really early. But I might try to hook up with these guys. Let's see. A little bit from this Bugatti, slingshot around him. Oof, boy, that's stressful. I still got to get past this guy, do I not? Yeah. By the way, I love that the current developers of the game, the studio, Slingshot Studios, I love that for guys that are making racing games. Because, I mean, the slingshot technique, I just love that. I was a fan of NASCAR at an extremely young age. And then Le Mans cars, I remember when I first saw those, I don't know, I was like 7 years old or something the first time I saw those on TV, and I went, oh my gosh, those are the most amazing things I've seen. Le Mans prototypes. And yeah, Formula One, I mean, I've liked it all for a long time. Anyway, is this I think that's a Nevera or Nevera. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's a Nevera, which I have no business catching up to in this car, but we'll just see how this goes. That is the fastest car in the game. Fastest accelerating car from 0 to 100, 0 to 200, 0 to 300. You know, I made the video myself, but I can't remember if it got... did it get 0 to 400? I think the MP4X beat it there. And then, of course, it can't go to 500. And so the Bugatti Bolide remains the champion of 0 to 500 for sure. Maybe... Yeah, not 0 to 400, though. Maybe. I forget. Okay. So, obviously I don't have to win this race. I forgot about that. But I must hit my target speed. Must. This, I'm so nervous at this point. Oh, you see that? It just hit 170 at the line. Gosh, is that stressful. Okay, for this last race, it says there's no map. Well, so what? We don't need one for this race. I mean, I don't. Maybe you do. If you want to see where cars are and stuff. But I mean... If you don't know this track, then you're not going to be able to do this with low upgrades. If you don't know this track by now, I would say. And there's no surprises with Spa. You know, sometimes with like the Silverstone circuit, I use that map because I forget the different variant names, or I didn't check before the race started to see which variant I'm on, and it's like, oh no, does this track go left or right at corner 1? Because well, corner 1 depends which track it is. So I've made that mistake sometimes where, like, I thought I was in Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, but I was at Silverstone Bridge circuit, and then I went right, and there's a wall there. You've probably done it too. Okay, so this is the very last race, and again, what I forgot to check, I gotta remember to do this one of these days. I always mean to check my fame before I start an event, and I always forget to, because I'd love to tell you guys how much fame I earned. I could go and add it all up. I'm not doing that. It's all there if you want to see it. You can add it all up if you want to. I don't think that affects anyone's decision whether to do an event or not. But it's interesting to do that. An easy rule, a basic rule for fame is you can kind of say 6,000 fame equals 1 gold, even though that's not true. It's true at a certain point in your career as a driver, but fame per gold ratio is constantly changing, and then at driver level 1000, I forget what I need. I think it's like 6,800 fame for gold, 1 gold. Versus at certain points in the game, you can have a lot less than 6,000, like 5,000 to get 1 gold. But anyway, it changes. Now we're going to fast forward because it's a whole nother lap of nothing. I win this easily. Try to do something dramatic at the end. Can't do a donut. So there you go, guys. That's the end of Dark Matter. There's my upgrades. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's under an hour, so that's pretty good. And best of luck to you in earning your Koenigsegg Gemera. Bye-bye now.